Hi, I'm Jeff from New York. Please like and subscribe.
Young Billionaire, Season 2, Episode 33, You Have to Go to the Police.
I killed my master. I killed my master.
Slayer panicked. He never thought that he would kill Jasper.
Listen to me, Danny.
Jeff held the excited Slayer by the shoulder and looked into his eyes.
He's dead. Don't be afraid. I'll make sure that you'll be fine.
But he was my benefactor. I'm nothing without him. Every day he would bring me food. I killed him.
Slayer felt conflicted.
He never saw you as a human, only as a pet dog. So don't feel guilty. Have you already forgotten how badly he kicked you? If you didn't do things for him, he would beat you.
Jeff did his best to calm the little man.
Now that Jasper is dead, you'll be your own. You won't need to listen to anyone else's orders.
Jeff looked at Slayer and added,
From now on, the nightmare is over. From today onward, you'll be better off. Do you believe me?
I believe you, because you're my friend.
Slayer said as he calmed down a little.
Good.
Jeff patted his shoulder. He finally felt less uneasy. The two of them looked at Dave and the rest of the group. They shivered.
Dave, what's wrong?
The help that Dave had called for had finally arrived. Four tall men walked in.
Get them!
Dave pointed at Jeff and his friends. The group of men rushed toward Jeff. After witnessing the tragic scene that had taken place moments earlier, several other people took the opportunity to run toward the door as they did not dare to stay in the restaurant any longer.
Slayer, we fight with our friends.
Jeff roared, picked up a wine bottle, and rushed forward.
Jeff, let me help you.
Slayer would not let his friend get hurt, so he darted over to join him. Damn it, I'm going to have a good fight today. Royben also stood up. Without waiting for Joyce to stop him, he also joined in. She looked anxiously at her brother, afraid that he would get hit again.
How can I miss out on this? I'll help too.
Since his friends were ready to engage in battle, John couldn't just stand there and watch. Even though he was injured and weak, he still had to fight alongside them. In the blink of an eye, Jeff and his friends were fighting with the tall men. Joyce and Violet watched anxiously from the sidelines. Slayer's martial arts skills were not just for show. When he used his skills, none of the tall men was his match. He alone was able to take on the whole group.
You trying to leave now? Come here.
Jeff ran toward the door, blocking Dave's path and slamming it shut. This time, none of them could escape.
Ouch! Mother! Damn!
Even though Slayer was also slightly injured, he still knocked down the whole group of thugs. The men piled up on the floor. Slayer stepped onto a dining table and then onto the stomach of one of the guys at the top of the pile. When he put his foot down hard, the men cried out in unison.
Kneel.
Jeff yelled. Royben and John also stand behind Jeff.
Yes, kneel, we will kneel.
Dave said. How could Dave, at that moment, even consider his status as the dignified son of a leader of the Shadow Reapers? If he didn't obey Jeff, that day could be his last.
What should we do with them?
Jeff looked at Royben and John, as they were the ones Dave had offended that day.
What have you got to say for yourself, you powerful Shadow Reapers member?
Now that they had restrained Dave, Royben and John became more energetic and taunted him. John also slapped the two hoodlums who had been flirting with Violet and Joyce at the airport.
You fought well, we should have.
The beaten Dave could only say that Royben and his friend had fought well. Joyce, Violet, how do you think we should deal with this scum? Royben looked at the girls and asked.
Right. Why don't you just slap them a few times to vent your anger?
John suggested.
Forget it. They're already in quite a miserable state.
Joyce and Violet had soft hearts. No, that's too nice. Royben said. He had yet to release his anger out on Dave. Royben glared at Dave and his group and said, Slap your own faces now. Dave and his group of men did not dare to disobey. They were afraid that Royben's group would get angry and kill them. The two corpses on the other side of the room gave them chills. Dave slapped himself 3 or 4 times. His face was already swollen with large bruises on his forehead. Steve followed suit, and he did it harder than anyone else. Who asked you to fight? Steve's heart trembled when he heard Royben's voice. He looked at Royben in fear. And when he saw Royben and John standing in front of him, his heart almost flew out of his chest.
Royben, John, please spare me. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I shouldn't have said those things to you before. Please forgive me. We're classmates. After all, I'm extremely grateful to you both.
Steve said as he kept bowing in panic. You damn well realize that we're classmates now, huh? Royben and John became even more infuriated when they heard him describe them as classmates. The two of them kicked Steve at the same time and he fell to the ground. Royben and John rushed towards Steve again. Royben hit him with his left hand and John hit him with his right hand. They each slapped Steve 10 times.
Royben, John, I won't do that again. I'm not good enough to be your classmate. I'd brought what happened today on myself,
cried Steve. Royben let Steve slap himself in the mouth. The restaurant was filled with the sounds of slapping. Jeff told them to stop and commanded them to leave.
Scram!
Dave, his lackeys, and of course, Steve all ran out of the restaurant. Only then did Jeff and his friends let out big sighs of relief. Jeff, what about you and Slayer? Royben asked worriedly. They had completely forgotten that Jeff and Slayer had each killed someone.
That's right. We shouldn't have let those guys leave. They might call the police.
John said.
Let's get out of here before the cops show up. If you leave the country, you can probably still live.
Violet said to Jeff. She didn't want anything to happen to him. If it hadn't been for Jeff that day, one of their group might have died.
Don't be silly.
He replied. Joyce looked at Jeff with deep concern and said,
Listen to me. Go to the police station and turn yourself in immediately. You have to get there before those people report it. If you hand yourself over, they'll reduce your sentence. Besides, they've beaten you up and it was self-defense. The punishment might even be lower.
That's all we can do now, Royben said.
Let's go,
said John.
Prison is always better than death.
Violet added. Royben, Violet and John agreed with her. They were ready to take Jeff and Slayer to the police station to hand themselves in.
There's no need to.
Jeff didn't move. He looked at them all and said,
Slayer and I don't need to go to the police station. We're fine. I know someone who will help me deal with this.
No need. Jeff, don't be silly. If you don't go now, those people will definitely go to the police. Let's hurry up and leave. Otherwise, turning yourself in won't count for much of anything anymore.
Violet said. Royben and his friends didn't believe Jeff. After all, they had just killed 2 people. Even the head of the White Tiger group, Donald Brennan, wouldn't be able to settle this issue. It was not like they didn't know Jeff's situation.
There's really no need for that. If I go to the police station now, I'd into trouble instead.
Jeff pushed Royben and the rest away. He couldn't explain it clearly to them.
Wait a minute. I'll make a phone call.
With that, Jeff walked off to the side and called Kyle.
Kyle, listen to me. 2 people are dead at the Yellow Garden restaurant. One is a lackey of Dave Wilkinson, who is connected to the Shadow Reapers. The other is Jasper Cruz, a rich guy in New York. Send someone right away to deal with them. I still have a few friends here to ensure their safety. Don't say anything else.
Jeff felt it was rather embarrassing to trouble Kyle with the dead bodies, but he knew that dealing with bodies was just a small matter for him.
Sir, are you all right?
Kyle asked with concern. After hearing Jeff say that he was fine, he calmed down a little.
Yes, I'll send people to deal with it. Your friends will be okay.
Very good.
Jeff replied.
What happened to the mother and daughter? Did you take them to a safe place?
I was just about to report on this to you.
Kyle's voice became heavier.
When our people arrived at the hotel, they were already gone.
They're not there anymore. Where did they go?
Jeff felt worried.
The hotel staff said that a few men took them away. We also checked the surveillance footage. Shadow Reapers people captured them. Right now, I'm preparing to send someone over to get them back.
Kyle told him all the information he had learned.
Just wait. I'll go personally this time. If Ariel and her daughter had fallen into the hands of the Shadow Reapers, the situation was extremely dangerous.
Jeff didn't have the patience to wait. He wanted to personally go and bring the 2 of them back as quickly as possible. After saying that, Jeff hung up the phone. When his friends overheard that he had been talking to a man named Kyle about the Shadow Reapers and a missing mother and daughter, they didn't understand and became worried.
You guys stay here and don't go out. Someone will come by in a while and deal with this mess. They'll take you guys to a safe place.
Jeff said. He told them he was going to leave. Although his friends didn't believe that he would find anyone to deal with the mess, he didn't have time to explain it further to them. Jeff sensed that someone was following him and saw that it was Slayer.
If you need anything, I'll help you.
Slayer didn't care about the dead bodies at all. Even if you were sentenced to death, he wouldn't have any regrets. He didn't want to make his friends sad.
You stay here and protect them. They're my friends. And they're also your friends.
Jeff told him. Slayer nodded and walked back over to Roybin's side. By then, Jeff had already rushed out. He was afraid that if he waited too long, something bad would happen to Ariel and her daughter.